What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Watch It in Action. I'm BouseFeenux, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Braton Prime. So this is one of my go-to weapons in the game. It's extremely solid, has good ammo economy, really high stat, or really nice status chance that procs pretty much constantly because of how fast it fires. Just all around a very solid general weapon to take with you when you're not sure which weapon to pick out. So taking a look at the build here real quick, there's pretty much one build for it, and you're going to need about 5 Forma to fit this one on here. And what I've gone with here is a more status-centered build because this weapon has pretty good status chance. You can swap out this last one here for an extra 60% dual stat mod, but I feel like the DPS suffers a little bit when you do that, and there's really not much return for it. So what I've decided to go with here is, the basic rifle mods. We've got heavy caliber, serration, split chamber, and then I use shred too for the fire rate, and then we get a little bit of punch through, which is really nice. Those of you that have been watching this video series, you guys know that I like, a little bit of punch through for my status weapons, and just any weapon in general. I feel like this is a really useful utility or stat to have on your weapons here, and this mod's pretty cheap and fits in pretty well without sacrificing anything else. So, thermite rounds, rhyme rounds, malignant force, you can switch these around. Right now I'm using corrosive and blast, but, you can swap these around, get gas, magnetic, whatever. It just depends on how you orient these mods here. It gives you different elements there. So I don't know if you guys knew that, by the way, real quick. You can swap these elemental mods around, and then you can get the different elements by just the placement of them. But anyway, that's pretty much the build for this weapon. And it's an assault rifle. It fires bullets. There's no weird projectiles coming out of this thing or anything like that. It's just, straight up bullets and shell casings is what we got here. So being a status and slash weapon, I highly recommend using this on targets without armor. It's going to be most effective, or if you have 4 corrosive projections in your party, you won't be disappointed using this weapon either. So what we're going to do is we're going to spawn some corrupted crewmen. These guys are corpus-based enemies. They have shields and health, flesh, and stuff like that. So corrosive blast isn't necessarily going to be that great against them, but corrosive blast is essentially an element that I use a lot in the void. But this weapon's still going to be pretty effective against these guys, and I'll demonstrate down here. So we're going to jump down, and we're going to notice, like, right away these guys are getting knocked down because of that blast proc. The status chance is going to make that possible. So with the blast proc, you get, like, a small AoE on your enemy, and it's going to knock anybody down that's close to him, which is really nice for crowd control, especially against tougher enemies because, without corrosive projection, especially, like, in the void or a sortie, this weapon is going to fall off against those heavily armored targets, being that it is primarily slash damage. And, as the higher levels enemies get, they get more health, they get more armor, etc. They start to scale a little bit higher, and any weapon is going to start to fall off at a really high level. So just make sure you're prepared as best as you can be. I really like the status on this weapon because, you can knock those enemies down with a blast proc. If you got viral, it's going to chip away at their health a lot more. Lots of different things you can do with status. It's definitely one of my favorite builds. Crit's pretty good too. Pure damage is fine, but I like the utility that status opens up a lot more possibilities and crowd control and stuff like that. So this is pretty much the Braton Prime. It's fully automatic, 75 rounds, pretty good. It reloads quickly. It's got a good ammo pool at 375. I never really find myself running out of ammo with this weapon, but if you do, of course, I use the large ammo restores here to get my my ammo back. But really, there's not much to this weapon. You throw on a good status build, and you get some punch through on there, you lay down on the trigger finger, and you're good to go. But I hope you guys learned something from this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you use this build and find it useful. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.